All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our NBA video here today for Thursday, March 18th. And if you're new here, I just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my channel. My name is Brock Page and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. If you want to find out how many of these picks are also being featured on my premium content, you may want to think about checking me out at patreon.com/BrockPage. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a sec. With that, guys, we got ourselves a nice slate of Thursday action, kind of a shorter, modified slate. I'm wearing green today. I got reprimanded for not wearing green on St. Patty's Day, so I'm wearing it today. I'm wearing a wrinkly green polo today. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our first matchup. I'm talking about the Utah Jazz taking on the Washington Wizards, 7 p.m. Eastern start time in D.C. The Jazz are the 10.5-point favorite on the road. Totals 237 and a hook. And if you like Washington in an upset on the on their home court here, they're plus $4 on the money line. And following a disappointing day on my Patreon website yesterday, we still managed to improve to 3-0 in our last 3 NBA tier package picks on that Patreon page. We're also hitting at 63% in our last 19 NBA tier package picks in that very same category. And if you want to join the 1,350 members who are currently signed up and active on that Patreon page, link for that site is in the description section below. Once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, Washington's on a 5-game losing streak, 2-5 against the spread in their last 7. Russell Westbrook's been listed as doubtful. They've also really struggled at the Capital One Arena this season. Winners of just 7 out of 21 home games. The Wizards are last in the NBA in points allowed, bottom 3 in defensive rebounding at home. They're allowing their opponents to make 48% of their field goals. Now they're squaring off against a Utah team who's 19 games above 500 for the entire season. And they also rank in the top 3 in scoring on average per contest. Donovan Mitchell scoring over 24.5 points per contest. 4 rebounds, 5 assists for the starting guard. Meanwhile, Jordan Clarkson is scoring 18 a night himself, along with 3 rebounds and a couple assists. Most of that action off the bench, although he may get the start here tonight. Looks like Mike Conley's sitting this one out here this evening. But regardless, Utah's got a ton of depth, and they also find themselves allowing just 108 points per contest. Very sound on the defensive end. Now, total-wise, 5 out of Utah's last 7 got over the number, 70% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, 3 out of Washington's last 5 got over the line themselves, 13 and 8 to the over on their home court. I'm going to lean toward the Utah Jazz minus 10.5 and the over 237 and a hook. Next ball game, it is going to be Magic versus the Knicks, 7:30 East. The New York Knicks are the 6-point favorite. Totals 206.5. Despite a tough stretch of games recently, we're still looking at a Knicks team who's 3-0 against the number in their last 3 straight and 7-2 against the number in their last 9. The Knicks also find themselves with a winning record on their home court. They're 11-7 straight up at Madison Square Garden this season, 61% against the number in those contests. New York currently leads the NBA defensively in points allowed and defensive 3-point percentage. And despite the absence of Rivers, Rose, and possibly Payton and Quickly, the Knicks are led by Julius Randle, who's scoring 23 points a game, along with 11 boards and 5 assists. Meanwhile, R.J. Barrett scoring over 17 a night himself, along with 6 rebounds and 3 assists as well. Those very 2 players have still yet to miss a game this season. Now, the Knicks are allowing just 105 points per contest, and they let their opponents make only 33% of their 3-pointers at Madison Square Garden. They're taking on a struggling Orlando squad who's currently on an 8-game losing streak. The Magic's won just 5 of 18 on the road this season, and they rank dead last in offensive field goal percentage. The Magic's also scoring just 103 points per contest when they travel. Now, Fournier, Ross, and Gordon are questionable. James Ennis is out. Total-wise, Orlando's last 2 straight stayed under the number, 5-4 to the under in their last 9. Meanwhile, the Knicks are 24-17 to the under for the entire season. Give me the New York Knicks minus 6 and the under 206.5. Next ball game, Thunder, Hawks, 7:30 Eastern tip-off in Atlanta. The Atlanta Hawks are -7 with a total at 226.5. Now, Atlanta's currently on a 6-game winning streak, 5-1 against the spread during that span. The Hawks also have a winning record at home, and they rank in the top 10 in offensive rebounding. Trey Young, is scoring 26 points a game along with 4 rebounds and 9 assists. Meanwhile, John Collins is scoring 18 a night himself, 5.5 boards and 7 assists for the starting forward. Atlanta's actually leading the NBA in defending the 3-ball on their home court. They're letting their opponents make just 32% of their 3-pointers at the State Farm Arena. Now, they are taking on an OKC squad who failed to cover in 2 out of their last 3. And they also currently find themselves 6 games below 500. Now, the Thunder's also going to work without Darius Bazley here tonight. And Lou Dort has also been ruled as questionable. So a couple key guys there either out or you might not see them. But anyway, OKC's in the bottom 5 in road scoring, bottom 5 in road 3-point percentage. Now, when it comes to the scoring in this one, OKC's 13-7 to the under when they travel. Atlanta saw 4 out of their last 7 stay under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Atlanta Hawks -7 and the under 226.5. Next matchup, it is going to be Timberwolves Suns, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The Phoenix Suns are -10.5, totals 230, juice to the over. Now, the Suns have won 8 out of their last 10, 80% against the spread in those 10 ball games. Phoenix is currently 14 games above 500, and they're ranked in the top 5 defensively in points allowed. They're also led by Devin Booker, scoring over 25 points a game, along with 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Meanwhile, Chris Paul is also scoring over 15.5 points a game himself, 4 rebounds, 8 assists for the starting point guard. Phoenix is 13-7 straight up at home, and they give up just 107 points per contest on their home court. They're taking on a Minnesota squad who lost 11 out of their last 13, and they rank dead last in points allowed on the road. The Timberwolves are allowing 120 points per contest away from their home court, and they've also been victorious in just 4 of 21 road games. Nice. Now, total-wise, Minnesota's 4-1 to the over in their last 5 ball games, 7-2 to the over in their last 9. Meanwhile, the Suns went 60% to the over in their last 10 outings themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Phoenix Suns -10.5 and the over 230. Next matchup, it is going to be Pelicans Blazers, 10 p.m. Eastern start time in Portland. The Portland Trailblazers are the 1-point favorite at home. Totals 239.5. Now, if you like the Pelicans in the slightest of upsets on the road here, they're actually -105 for some money line cash. Now, the New Orleans Pelicans have dropped 6 out of their last 9, and they're also just 5-13 straight up when they travel as well. New Orleans is dead last in defending the 3-ball on the road. They allow their opponents to make nearly 43% of their 3-pointers in that category. The Pelicans are also allowing 117 points a night. They're taking on a Portland squad who's won 5 out of their last 7 themselves. And in addition to that, they currently have a record of 12-7 straight up at the Moda Center. Now, Portland is in the top 10 in scoring on average per contest, top 10 in offensive 3-point percentage. Damian Lillard scoring 30.5 points a night, along with 4 rebounds and 8 assists. Meanwhile, Gary Trent Jr. scoring over 15.5 points a game himself, along with a couple of boards. Now, the Portland Trailblazers are currently 9 games above 500, and they average nearly 116 points per contest. Going to be interesting to see how they fare when C.J. McCollum eventually comes back, because these guys actually kind of took off after he got injured. But anyway, total-wise, Portland saw contests with Minnesota, Golden State, the Lakers, and Denver stay under the number recently. Meanwhile, the Pelicans saw games with Cleveland, Miami, and San Antonio stay under the total recently themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Portland Trailblazers -1 and the under 239.5. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Hornets Lakers, 10:30 Eastern tip-off. The Los Angeles Lakers are the 8-point favorite at home. Totals 225. But despite their recent success, the Lakers have really struggled to cover the point spread at home this season. As a matter of fact, out of 21 games this season as the official home team, the Lakers successfully covered the number just 9 of them. LA's also in the bottom 3 in the NBA in shooting the 3-ball at home, bottom 10 in shooting from the stripe. Now, they got a couple of guys here on the injury report. I'm talking about Gasol, Caruso, and Davis still out. LeBron and Morris are questionable. Now they're taking on a Charlotte team who's playing some pretty good basketball right now. They actually won 4 out of their last 5 ball games, 6-3 straight up in their last 9. The Hornets are in the top 10 in road scoring, top 10 in road three-point percentage. Now Gordon Hayward scoring nearly 21 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists for the starting forward. Meanwhile, Terry Rozier scoring 20.5 points a night himself, along with 3 rebounds and 3 assists as well. Total-wise, Charlotte's gone 70% to the over in their last 10 ball games, 15-4 to the over on the road. Meanwhile, the Lakers on the other side of things, they are 4-1 to the over in their last 5 themselves, 12-9 to the over at the Staples Center. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Charlotte Hornets +8 and the over 225. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like Utah -10.5, over 237 and a hook. New York Knicks -6, under 206.5. Atlanta Hawks -7, under 226.5. Phoenix Suns -10.5, over 230. Portland Trailblazers -1, under 239 and a hook. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 3-0 in our last 3 NBA tier package picks on my Patreon website. We're also hitting at 63% in our last 19 NBA tier package picks on that very same page in that category. I like the Charlotte Hornets +8 and the over 225. And one final reminder here, guys, all the content on my YouTube channel is for entertainment purposes only. I don't make any guarantees of any kind. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into some shout-outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to Stephen Britt, Francisco Rocha, JS, Teddy Choba from Ghana, West Africa. Shout out to Olmec _ Ulysses Hayes, Renisha Brown, Philly Scorpio, Justin Juniors, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my good friend, Anthony Bautista. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.